Hey guys, if you guys are watching this on the replay, which I imagine most of you are, please just skip ahead a few minutes. I want to check out some of the settings here and also wait for people to arrive. So just maybe skip a few minutes and then I will get started then, okay? Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Hey guys, I see there's one of you here. Hello. I'm just waiting a few minutes to see if people will show up and then I'll get started. I say if people will show up because last time nobody showed up for my live, but I think I botched because it was in the car. I'm not so sure it sent out a notification to people, but feel free to say hey in the chat and let me know where you're from if you don't mind. Love to know who is here. Okay, I think I get it. Whew. Hello. Just waiting a few minutes to let people come on. So it won't actually let me see who's here. That's disappointing. I thought I'd be able to see you guys and say hello. So definitely let me know in the comments who you are, please. And where you're from maybe would be great. Oh, you did make it. Hello. That's awesome. Good to see you here. Don't hit me with too many hard questions. But if you guys do have questions, feel free to leave them in the side there and I'd be happy to answer them for you. But if you don't, that's okay. I went online and I printed off. It's this website called Answer the Public. And it tells you the most popular questions that have been searched on Google. So it gives you like this chart and it breaks it up into like the questions that start with how and why and when. Anyway, it had some pretty neat questions in there and some that I've never answered before. So I thought I would answer those for you today if you don't have any of your own. Like I said, of course, go ahead and leave them below there in the comments at the side there and I'll see them live. If you guys are new here, my name is Cassandra and welcome and consider subscribing maybe after this live. I would appreciate that. I do videos about homeschooling and Yellowknife and also some food videos and other random things. But yeah, mostly Yellowknife stuff. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started here. And hello, Mo. Good to see you as well. I'm glad you made it. All right, so the first question is where to stay in Yellowknife. And I've had this question before, and I actually answered it like, I'm actually not sure because I haven't stayed in many of the hotels. But I thought that I would tell you about the few hotels I have stayed in because I actually have stayed in a few. When we first arrived here, we stayed in a hotel for like a month, 2 different ones. And I've also eaten at a hotel. So I'm going to tell you about those now. So the first one I stayed in is Stanton Suites. And that's the one that's right across from Independent and right beside the hospital. So if you guys are moving here for a hospital job, which is pretty common, then that's where they'll put you up. And so that one also has people living there like short term and long term, I think. So it's like almost like an apartment as well. There were some good things and some bad things about that. The location is awesome. It's right across from Walmart, right across from Independent. There's like a bunch of things around and it's not downtown, so it's not super crazy. And it's also close to like a walking trail. It's a good place to stay in. It has a full kitchen. I don't know if all the rooms do, but I'm pretty sure they do. I think that's why it's called the suites. So it has like a full kitchen and different bedrooms and like a little living room and everything. If you guys go back to like way back to my videos of when I was moving from Ontario, I think it's like my very first video about moving, that will have a bit of the hotel in there if you're interested in staying there. So there's that one. But the only drawbacks I would say, I wouldn't recommend if you're coming for a visit to stay there. It's not the nicest hotel, although I'm not sure we have any of those. But I have a feeling that one I'm going to talk about a little later would maybe be a better suited hotel. But it like when we moved into the hotel, I was talking to someone in the elevator and they're like, oh yeah, yesterday there's like Cheetos all over the floor. And like, I guess people get a little bit rowdy. It was a little bit noisy because it's also where people stay when they're coming from anywhere in the territories. or Nunavut, parts of Nunavut, to get care from the hospital. So they are put up there as well, if there's not room in this other place. It's kind of complicated, but so there's some people staying from out of town too that may not care as much and things like that. So it also has a gym in it, which is really good. And another kind of con to that was that the staff weren't very helpful. To be nice, they were like a lot of, like, we had packages delivered there that didn't make it until the end of the trip after asking like 10 times where our packages were, that they should have been there. There was like a notice in our mailbox even, and like the people were not very helpful, let's say. And we had a few other kind of small issues, but maybe it was just our luck. Maybe the staff there now is wonderful. So anyway, okay. So anyway, the next one I'm going to talk about, and then we stayed there for like 2 weeks or so. And then we were moved to one called Capital Suites, which is closer to downtown, but there's nothing else around it. So it's like, you'd have to walk a bit of a ways to get downtown. It was definitely quieter, which was nicer. It was definitely more clean and, a little nicer, but it was definitely maybe not the nicest again for a visit. The staff again were not super helpful or kind or welcoming or anything like that. They were nice enough, but that was one thing I would say. But it wasn't as spacious. So it did have a little kitchen, but the kitchen was attached to the little living room, which had the pull-out bed, which was the additional bed. So it didn't have like a room with a separate bed. So you basically had to put the bed away in the daytime to use your living room. And then there was one bedroom. So if you're staying long term, that might not be the best for that because it's not quite as spacious. And then, like I said, nothing's very convenient. So the last one that I thought I would mention is we ate at the Explorer Hotel, which is downtown, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like off the main road a little bit and on this hill. It's actually really nice. The food was really good. It was like, good. There's no complaints, and it seemed a lot nicer. So that might be an option if you guys are looking to stay somewhere here. But those are my only experiences with any of the hotels. By the way, if you guys are just joining, I see there's a couple more people. Feel free to ask any questions in the side here, and I can answer them for you. But I'm just going through some commonly asked questions from Google if you don't have any specific questions of your own, and some I've never answered before. So it might be worth a listen. So that was the first one. The next one is when to visit Yellowknife, which I do get a lot. And obviously it's personal preference and what you are looking to achieve when you're here. A lot of people come to see the Northern Lights, which you guys know, embarrassingly, I still haven't seen, but I blame it on having little children. I'm not really able to go out there late at night to be able to look at them. We've tried a few times, but like it's difficult to see. It has to be perfect conditions, like a clear sky. And, like obviously it has to be in the winter because our summers are almost 24/7 light. So you have to come in the winter time or, fall, winter, spring kind of season. I feel like there's 2 seasons here, winter and summer. So I say come in the winter. And if you're looking for that, obviously winter time, and that's a cool time to experience the cold. I know that seems crazy, but it is quite the experience to experience these really cold temperatures. So that might be a reason too. I'd say maybe November and December are the best months for that because they're not super cold. Like your car's still going to start, and if you're renting or whatever, and you still get to experience that cold, but it's not like unbearable. And then, but my favorite would probably be May or June because the snow is like almost all melted and there's not the bugs out yet. So you're able to do all those outdoor activities that you wish to do. So that would be my option. Of course, there's activities to do in the winter. You can do dog sledding and cross-country skiing and all that stuff, skidooing. There's fun activities to do in both seasons, but I'd prefer for me to come in the summer, although I'm not much of a outdoor person. So are there any food specialties in Yellowknife? Thank you for asking that. There are, but I haven't admittedly been to a lot of the restaurants. I'm a chain restaurant kind of person. I do know my husband has told me a few recommendations from people at work. There is a Vietnamese restaurant I've eaten at. It was really good. Vietnamese and Thai, I think. It was really good. And then that's the only exotic place I've eaten. I know my husband's been bugging me. There's an Ethiopian restaurant. I've never eaten at a place like that. So I've never been, and I'm kind of nervous. But anyway, there's an Ethiopian restaurant, and I'm sure there are other ones as well, but like I said, I haven't done quite a lot of research in the restaurant area yet. So sorry, that's not a very good answer. Okay, hello, hi Leah. Okay, so have you ever seen a polar bear up there? Oh, that's a cute question. I don't think there are polar bears in my region. So I'm in the subarctic still. So I'm still not quite as north, I think, as you would need to be to see a polar bear. I would freak out if I saw a polar bear, but there has been different black bears and grizzly bears and things. That's common up here. Actually, I've seen a video before, sorry for repeating myself, but I take my daughter to this park that's close to our house, like right in the city. It's just out of school. And a few days later, or the next day, I can't remember exactly the timeline, there was actually a bear there that they had to get out. So I was like, oh, so they get into the city rarely, but it does happen, especially if you're into hiking and stuff. You're likely to see a bear. Hello. Savannah's is good. Oh, thank you for that recommendation. That's a restaurant, I imagine. What is the specialty of Savannah's? Is it just like American food or Canadian food? Let me know there. Yeah, I do need some restaurant. You guys are often leaving me restaurant recommendations. I know one just closed down that I wanted to try. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but I was kind of sad to hear it, that I didn't get to it. Obviously, things are hurting here, I'm sure, for restaurant and tourism, of course, because of our borders being closed and everything. But let's not go there and get all negative. So yeah, thanks for the questions, guys. Just go ahead if you have, try to answer them for you. So the next one that I have is, what's the best, oh, I already answered that. What's the best month to see the Northern Lights? So definitely in those winter months. How cold does it get in Yellowknife? I get this question a lot too. It gets cold, but it's a different cold than I'm used to because, of course, the humidity is less. So it does get minus 40 and 50 with wind chill. I do feel like it's really windy all the time. Almost all the time it's windy, at least from what I've used to. But, oh, hey, Christine, how are you? Have I seen the Northern Lights? I know you just probably missed my ramble on the Northern Lights. No, it's so embarrassing. I have not seen the Northern Lights, but I blame it on my kids because we're not able to go late enough, I feel like, and when it's dark. But definitely it's an excuse because we've tried probably 6 times. My husband has this app actually that lets him know when a good time to see them is, because it has to be like a clear sky and like pretty good conditions. And you have to drive a bit out of the city usually to get away from the city lights so that you can see them. But no, we still haven't seen them. So embarrassing. Oh, that's a really good question. Do you have mosquitoes? Yeah, we have so many mosquitoes. Like not even mosquitoes, just like those annoying ones that don't bite. There are a lot of mosquitoes though. If you camp and stuff, like, yeah. One thing I did find weird about the bugs though are there dragonflies here. Like we have the most enormous dragonflies and they're so loud and there's so many of them. Like when a dragonfly comes around, it's like they're crazy. So, but yeah, lots of mosquitoes. And anything you're doing pretty much, if you're a wimp like me and you come from somewhere else, my husband says you get used to the bugs, but I wear like a bug net or like a bug jacket or something, like if I'm going berry picking or hiking in those summer months. I can't deal with the bugs. It's because of my face. I don't mind them getting my body, but I can't take them on my face. Like even the kids are better than I am now with it. I don't know. I can't stand it. You saw them in Northern Ontario. Yeah, for sure. I hear like it's similar. Northern Ontario, really Northern Ontario in here. There's a lot of similarities for sure. Are there any native languages that you have learned or is it strictly English? No, there are a ton of languages here. I haven't learned any. That would be awesome. But it's a cool experience even with that. Like it seems very multicultural. Like when you go to the library, my kids are constantly like picking off books off the shelves that are in the native languages here. I wish I could tell you what they were, but there are actually quite a few. It is mostly English, and then I think probably maybe French is quite common as well. I've met quite a few people that speak French, but I know the dragonflies are so weird. I don't know. Yeah. What's the latest you've had snow? Oh, yesterday? Yeah, it's still snowing here for sure, but it's melting faster than it's snowing. So it's actually, the snow melts so fast. Once it starts to get warm, it just melts. This is kind of a strange year because if you look at the weather forecast for the next couple weeks, it's still in the negatives, which is really abnormal. It's usually at least like 0, like between 0 and 10. But Yeah, it's been colder, so it's actually melting a little slower, but normally it's like gone. You'd have so much and then it's just like gone. What's the major difference between living in Yellowknife and Whitehorse? Do you often visit Yukon? Hey there. Um, Interesting. I've never been to Whitehorse before. In fact, I think it's quite the trek to make it to Whitehorse. I would love to one day. Obviously, not right now. We sort of came, and then it was just a few months before this COVID stuff started. So I don't have a lot of experience in traveling. Soon we're going to go, though, to Fort Providence, which is, I think, like 8 hours away. We're going to kind of explore in the territories for now, and I'll definitely do a video on that to show you guys the hotel we're staying at and the fishing there and all sorts of things. So, but no, I don't often visit Yukon. I would love to. I'm wondering if you know any of my Yellowknife family. My last name is Fowler. Hey, Barb. No, I don't think so. Again, since the COVID stuff started, I feel like I haven't been able to meet a lot of people. The only people I've been meeting are the people in the homeschool community, which are wonderful, as well as people at like kids sports. Because really, I'm doing nothing else to meet people, and this is like random people in the store or something. So I don't think I've met anyone with the last name Fowler yet. Did you see the bear at Parker Park? Is that the one at the school? I'm trying to think of what the school is. I'm gonna NJ McPherson. I didn't see it, but we were there. If it's the same park, we were there like the day before. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was just there with my kids. Like, I don't even know what I would have done if I saw a bear. I like brushed up on it after. I'm like, okay, if it's a grizzly, this is what you do. And oh man, I just told my kids to like, basically like stay still or get behind me. Into June, the snow into June. Yeah, it's usually melted by June, but yeah, I think it's almost always melted by June. It's like mid-May it'll melt, but the bugs don't start coming until like mid-June. That's what I said about June. I'm not quite sure what you were asking there, but I read that Tagalog is highly spoken there due to the Filipino community. Oh yeah, possibly. Yeah. That's definitely something I'll look into after this because I'm not quite sure. Also, Barb says, also, our new weather girl just moved to Yellowknife. CTV weather. Oh, really? Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's neat. I don't know. I'm like, avoid the news, even the Weather Channel. We don't have cable, though. But my husband really follows the news and what's going on there, so he might know. But have you ever met somebody with the, last name, I don't even want to say that. Yella, no. You guys will learn I'm like pretty antisocial. Like I probably don't know many people. I'm good with YouTube because I don't know, maybe I can't see your faces, but when I'm in front of people, I'm so awkward. It's funny, I used to be so extroverted, but then after marrying my husband, he's extremely introverted, and I've become more and more introverted as the years have gone on. So now I'm like, I don't even know how to make a friend anymore. It's so bizarre. But anyway, so no, I'm sorry, I don't know all your friends. That would be really cool. I know people message a lot and say that either they've moved here or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, like if I meet them, they'll probably be like, oh, you're so weird. It is a great city. It really is a great city. I'm constantly saying that in my videos. I do really love to live here. It's wonderful. Oh, okay. Barb says she visited in the summer of 2018. Yeah. What month did you come in out of curiosity? Did you get to experience the plague of bugs, or was it a good month of the summer? Yeah, it's beautiful. I think a lot of people visit in the summer, which is good because, like I said, the nature here is like nothing you would ever see anywhere else. I feel like it's so amazing. July. Oh, yeah, you were here right in the bug time. How did you find that? Were you okay? But I'm wondering if it's just me. I'm a big wimp or what? But because my husband's fine. I really think it depends on the person if the bugs get you or not. Oh, cool. Gerald says he's moving to Yellowknife in July. Super excited. That is really exciting. And I think a great time to move as far as like the temperature and everything. That's awesome. Hopefully things will be a little more opened up here within our community too. So things will be a little more normal, hopefully. My uncle is, okay. Yeah, see, I am like not up on, sorry, I'm not even reading the things out loud. She says that her uncle is the Dene Grand Chief, Norman. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm just like stay in my house and be antisocial. Okay, it was okay. It was okay, Barb says, in that month. That's awesome. Well, hopefully you get to visit again if you desire soon. I feel like this is never going to open, but you never know. All right, so we'll move on to my next question here. So someone asked, or someone on the thing asked, why is Yellowknife so cold and how close is it to the North Pole? So like I was saying before, it's in the subarctic. So the North Pole is still quite far north. It says it's 3,062 kilometers away, or nearly 2,000 miles for you Americans or people that deal with miles. And then another thing I get asked all the time is Yellowknife in Nunavut? People confuse like which of the territories it's in. And it's obviously in the Northwest, well, not obvious to some people, it's in the Northwest Territories. So I know a lot of people watch videos on what it's like to live in Nunavut and compare it. And it's not at all the same, like cost wise or how exotic it may seem. It's like more of a normal city. I'm always saying that. People think it's like this really exotic place. And it's fair that people think that because there's not a lot of information about it online. That's why I started to talk about it, because I wished I could watch some vlogs or whatever about it before I came to know what I was getting myself into. So I'm new to your channel. How long have you lived in Yellowknife and where were you previously? Oh, well, welcome. Awesome. I am from Ontario and I have lived here since December of 2 years, like not the last December, the one before that. So I've lived here about a year and 4 months. I came like beginning of December, which is like the worst time to move. I would not recommend it. But with the process of how my husband got a job, we just had to wait. And then it was like he was going to have to renew his license there. And there was all sorts of things. And they were eager once they hired him to get him here. So they actually brought him here a few weeks before he started working, which was kind of neat. Yeah, welcome. So, oh, this is a cool one. It said, why did Yellowknife become the capital and why? Why is Yellowknife the capital of the Northwest Territories? I'll answer your question first, Mo. Do the kids still have memories of Southern Ontario? And I assume they have adjusted to their new surroundings. So in case you guys don't know, I have a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old. So obviously they're still working on their long-term memory. My daughter has lots of memories of Southern Ontario and my son does as well. Not as many as my daughter, of course, because he's the younger one. But he says funny things like he wishes, we could go back to our old apartment and things like that. Even still, like the other day he said that. And it's funny because if you guys have been watching for a while or saw my last apartment, like my last apartment sucked. Like there was no room. It was so small. It was like really cheap. And like, cause my husband was a student at the time. So I think it's hilarious when he says that because we have this beautiful, nice townhouse now. And I'm like, why do you want to go back there? It's so weird. But yeah. So he has things like that. And of course they have memories of visiting family. So grandma specifically, they ask or they remember things all the time about visiting grandma and also things like zoo trips and stuff. So yeah, I guess they have lots of memories of Ontario still. And yeah, I think they've definitely adjusted for sure. They need to adjust a little more to the cold and like just getting outside, even if it's cold. I think like that's one of the things about homeschooling that maybe I should enforce a little more is like, get outside. I see those kids out at recess and it's like freezing. So they still have to adjust to the cold a bit, I feel like. But Sabrina says, may I ask what your husband does for work? I'm always so curious about the types of jobs offered in the North. Yeah, for sure. My husband is a nurse at the hospital. He started as a float nurse, so he got to work on all the floors, and then he moved to medicine because that's where he prefers. That's where he wanted a job to begin with. The hospital's really good if you guys are planning working at the hospital. They seem to freely let you move around quite easily, not like all the time, but if you start somewhere and you get a job anywhere in the hospital, I would recommend just taking it, and then you'll be able to move where you want to be for the most part if you have the training and everything. So yeah, and the different types of jobs here, I did a Q&A a while ago. I'll try to link it down below for you. But I went through the census and like told you guys what the most popular jobs are. But just to name a few right now, working for the government is like super popular. Military, like RCMP, and mining is really big here too. We do gold mining and diamond mining. So actually, I think maybe just gold now. I don't know, but mining is also really popular. So those are just a few of the kinds of jobs. So a lot of FaceTime with the grandparents. Yeah, we do FaceTime a lot with them. My kids still haven't got used to, speaking of adjusting, they have not got used to FaceTime. They still are ridiculous on there. It's like the camera's out and they're wild. Like they can barely sit down. It's like, I'm waiting for the day when I can just ship them off to grandma's, So no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we would love to visit again or have her come meet us somewhere or whatever. Hello, my name is Edson and I'm from Brazil and I love your channel. Oh, thank you so much. It's so cool that you guys watch from other places in the world. Brazil, wow. That's a lot more exotic than here, I'm sure. I don't know why you'd be interested in lame old Canada. No, I'm just kidding. That's really cool. Thank you for watching today. Did you know there's a COVID case in Yellowknife now connected to a school? Yes, I heard about that. Yes, my husband keeps me informed of these things because I would rather be oblivious, but yes, I did hear that. Thankfully, we're doing so well with our immunization rates. Lots of people have been vaccinated, so obviously the kids haven't, so that's frightening, but I understand it to be not as dangerous for kids and they don't generally contract it as much and things like that. So hopefully everything will be okay, especially because I feel like if these little things keep happening, like a case here and a case there, we're just never gonna open up. Yellowknife seems like such a colorful and interesting place. Yes, yeah, it is for sure. Yeah, especially if I feel like if you're not from here, but because the locals, I'm like, oh, even if I talk to someone like my neighbor or something, and I'm like, oh, have you been hiking? Have you seen this waterfall? And have you? And she's like, yeah, whatever. It's never as exotic when you're born here, but definitely as a visitor or someone moving in, it's definitely awesome to live here. All right, so I'll answer a few more of these and then I will give you guys your day. So, oh yeah, so I was talking about why Yellowknife became the capital. So it became the capital in 1967. And I'll just read you a little part on the Yellowknife website. It says, the city of Yellowknife has its origins in gold mining and was designated as the territorial capital in 1967. Since then, the city has grown to become a cultural, economic, and government services hub for the territory. And it's also the biggest city in Yellowknife. So this is my own input. They estimate it's about 45,000 people in 2020. So it's definitely grown. And yeah, I think it makes sense because the other places in the Northwest Territories are small communities generally, much, much smaller. So I feel like it'd be really the only option for a capital here. All right, so what's Yellowknife famous for? And I talked about that a bit. The diamond and gold mining mostly is what it's famous for. And also just how beautiful it is. I just can't even express this enough. And I am not an outdoors person. Christine, if you're still watching, you remember I used to tease Christine's husband a bit because we'd be driving and he'd be like, look at the beautiful trees, the maple trees and how they're changing color. And I was like, oh, whatever. But yeah, I'm not a nature person at all, but I'll tell you, I have become a nature person since coming here, as in appreciating the beauty of it. It is incredible. Amazing. Oh, you are? Yeah. Yeah. Remember I used to make fun of Sid? Yeah. He's like, look at the trees. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about the trees. But I do want to talk about the trees here. We don't really have trees. We have trees, but they're so short and stuff. It's so funny. As you get further north, there's no trees, obviously. But yeah, I think that's so funny. I can't appreciate the beauty of the maple trees anymore. So we'll be glad to know you're converted. That's hilarious. Yeah, don't tell him, please. I don't need to give him any ammo of why I should be agreeing with him on anything. I really want to get, Mo says, I really want to take the opportunity to thank you now that you're live. I know the time it must take you to edit and come up with new ideas. Thanks for all you do for your viewers. That's so nice. Thank you for watching. You've been watching for so long, and I so appreciate you guys watching and giving me an awesome hobby that I enjoy. I really do enjoy it a lot. So thank you. That's so nice. You have to move to Yellowknife to appreciate it. Yeah, probably, or at least visit. Right? You should definitely come visit for sure. Oh, thank you. What do you think is the craziest neighborhood in Yellowknife? Yeah, if you guys are new here and you want to know about the different neighborhoods, I've done different driving neighborhood tours in case you're planning on moving here too. I've got some playlists linked down below for you too about moving here or visiting if you do want to know more information about that. The craziest neighborhood, I'm not sure. I've only lived in one neighborhood. So I don't know what the craziest would be. Why don't you tell me? I'm not sure. LOL with the maple trees. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that for me, being downtown feels crazy, but that's just because I'm an old lady. Because it always seems to be something going on. I don't know. Like there always seems to, even when I'm like driving down there to the library or anything, there always seems to be somebody like fighting or yelling or I don't know. That makes it sound really bad, but I'm sure lots of downtowns are like that in cities, but I'm not that kind of person. So it's like, that seems crazy to me. So I guess downtown would be my answer. Okay, you were talking about like a specific neighborhood. I think Williams Avenue. That sounds like right by me. I think that's like literally right down the street. I don't know though. I'm pretty sure. Those seem like really nice houses, so that can't be right. I don't know. Anyway. Gerald says, we're outdoor people, hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, and things like that. Any must-see places. Oh, yeah. And also, must be a weird question, but do people pan for gold as a fun family activity? Oh, that's a great question. So first about the hunting, fishing, and all that. My husband, I know, is still figuring out good places to fish. So I'm not quite sure there. He could probably tell you. I wish he was here to answer that. And I think there's only 2 options for camping. And hiking, Cameron Falls, I would say, is my favorite hike so far. That's the one with a really big waterfall, and it's a decent length of a hike. And you could go further and see different things. Yeah, that's a beautiful hike. I would suggest that one if you could only do one. But in my Yellowknife every month videos, I cover different hikes in there all the time. So you could always look back there. And hunting, yeah, funny. My husband and I were just talking about hunting the other day. But he's like, I need to make some friends to be able to go because you have to be able to go in a group. It's not really safe to go on your own. And he says you kind of have to go pretty like a ways from Yellowknife. So I'm not quite sure about that. Sorry. And then people panning for gold. I don't know. I need to look into that. That's so awesome. That's such an awesome idea. I know that the mines have kind of tainted some of the area, as in the water and stuff. Like there's signs by some of the water areas that's like the arsenic. I think that's from gold mining. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so that's kind of been an issue. I'm not sure if that would affect panning for it, but I'll definitely look into that. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm not sure. Okay. So make sure you ask your questions now if you do have any more, because I am going to get going soon, but I'll just finish a few more from my list here. So, okay, yeah, this is a popular one. I know a lot of people watch from Ontario, so a lot of people are asking, like, how far is Yellowknife from Toronto? And also, how far is Yellowknife from Edmonton? Those are popular searched places. And so from Toronto, it's 4,892 kilometers, or about 3,000 miles. And it's like a 49-hour drive. And if you're going, both ways, if you're going through the States or if you're going and avoiding the States. We avoided the States when we traveled here. So it took us, I think, 6 days, and we had 1 rest day. We drove a lot of hours in the day. Actually, my husband had a student at work, and she's traveling back to Ontario. I think to Toronto. And he was like kind of teasing her because she's like, oh, we're going to drive about 6 hours. It's like, oh, it's going to take you forever to get there. You know, he's like, oh, have fun on your long trip. But yeah, I think it's better if you kind of drive as many hours as you can in the day. My husband was so good for that. I think I drove like 2 hours and I was like done each day. And he drove like 8 hours. Anyways, and from Edmonton, which is relevant because if you want to go to any big city from here, probably the closest one is Edmonton. And it's still a 15.5-hour drive. And that's what it says on Google Maps. But I do think the Google Maps kind of screw up as you get closer to Yellowknife. I think you can condense that a few hours because I remember we arrived way earlier than we were supposed to. So I think that's kind of off a bit. But anyway, it's 1,454 kilometers or 903 miles. So yeah, that would be where you would go if you wanted to visit a big city, which we plan to do when it opens up. Have you been planning to visit neighboring Yukon or Nunavut? Yeah, someone asked that earlier. I would love to visit Yukon. Maybe not so much Nunavut. I don't know. I would love to visit every province in theory. I mean, I've almost done that at this point. So I feel like I should, but Nunavut's a bit more of a trek to get there, whereas Yukon seems a bit more manageable. I would like to visit Whitehorse or, some other cities in Yukon eventually. And we probably will make our way up there because my husband we're like the type of people that move somewhere and then like to explore the surrounding areas. So I imagine we will make it there at some point. I'll definitely vlog about it so you guys can see. I was saying that in a few weeks, we're going, or at like the end of May, we're going to go visit Fort Providence. That's like as far as we will have been so far within the Northwest Territories. I think it's about 8 hours, 6 hours. Pardon me. Yeah, so that's about as exotic as it's going to get for us right now with all the COVID stuff and the borders being closed and all that. So, um, okay, and how about I do one more? I'll do. My nose is running. Sorry. I'll do. Well, I've done videos about both of these, but why move to Yellowknife or why visit Yellowknife was on the list, and why we would move here is because, well, there's lots of reasons. We've talked about a lot, like it's obviously a beautiful place to live and, a bit more exotic and an experience. But you also make more money here, which is the main reason my husband wanted to move here. And I did at first because we really didn't know much about it before we came here, but we did know that salary was a lot higher. And also you can get full-time as a nurse, which is not a thing for graduating students where we're from. Really, like it's really hard to get full-time in any of the provinces, as far as I know, unless you move to sort of rural areas, but not so much in Ontario. And also the pay is high. And I know a lot of people say, well, the cost of living is high, but it does offset, in my opinion. And as far as I've experienced and budgeted, maybe that's not the case for everyone, but I feel like we're living like the thing that's most expensive is rent. Food is like comparable, but comparable to not discount stores, like to regular grocery stores, like independent, like Metro, those kind of stores. It's the rent and housing really that's super expensive. So anyways, that's one of the reasons. I'll answer your questions though. Do I sometimes use public transportation in the city or mostly use your car for work and travel? That is a good question. I haven't yet used public transit. Well, that's not true. I haven't yet used the bus system. But I've used cabs many times because I've had a lot of car problems, as you guys probably know if you've watched, pardon me, any of my videos. So I have definitely used cabs. It's just reminding me, sorry, they just did this survey. The Women's Association just did this survey about if cabs are safe here. I'm going back to that. And we were talking about how, anyway, yes, I've had no bad experiences with cabs. They've been fine. But yeah, we mostly use our car or walk. My husband lives about a 20-minute walk from the hospital. So he walks, especially in the winter, which is kind of funny. Poor him. But, just to get the kids bundled up and everything is quite the process. So it's often just a lot easier for him to walk. But the great thing about Yellowknife is it is small enough where you could pretty much walk anywhere if you wanted to. Obviously, in those winter months, that would be difficult just because it's so cold. But I know a lot of people do. And even ride their bikes in the winter, which is wild to me. You often see like bikes. But yeah. Can you talk a little bit about what a school is like in Yellowknife? Yeah, I've done a video about that actually. I'll link that down below. It's called The School System in Yellowknife. You guys may not know, but my kids are actually homeschooled, so I don't know about the public schools, and we haven't gone to any colleges or anything here. We did that back where we're from in Ontario, so I can't mention anything about that. I do know we have a college called Aurora College, and it has very few programs. I know that much. But the nursing, I know that. But anyway, no, I can't give you a ton of information about that, but I can tell you about the homeschooling here and what that's like, and also what I do know about the schools, and a little bit of footage is in that video. So I'll link that down below for you. What's the cheapest rent in Yellowknife? Well, I don't know for like a bachelor and one bedroom and stuff, but we pay $2,100 for a 3-bedroom townhouse. But that was comparable to 2-bedroom apartments. It was about the same. So yeah, the cheapest one we looked at, I think, was like 1,800 maybe. But ours, just to clarify, ours doesn't include electricity only. So heat and water is covered. And I think most of them were like that. Like utilities were not included in the rent as well. And as you guys may know, heating is really expensive here. Like the utilities are expensive here. So it's something to consider when you're buying a house as well. The houses are wild. If you haven't seen my house video on houses and apartments and you're curious about that, check that out. I go through the ads with you and just show you some examples of some of the houses, and it's expensive for sure. Your physics teacher, awesome. Yeah, you should definitely move here. I'm sure they need teachers here, especially right now. I think there's a lot of people. to be honest, a lot of jobs are needed, especially right now, because a lot of people are just taking off and going home because they're not allowing vacations because of the borders being closed and all that. And people are used to moving here and then seeing their family at least once a year, and they haven't been able to do that often multiple times a year. I know that the hospital is losing a lot of people because of that, because people just are sick of it and want to see their family. So they're just moving back home. So I think a lot of jobs are in demand right now. This may be a good time to move. Sucks you have to move and isolate and all that, but it may be worth it for sure. There probably is a lot more job openings now. How much are minimum payments? I'm not quite sure what you're asking there. Minimum payments for what? Oh, like, I don't know. Can you clarify what you mean? How much is this average salary here? Again, I'm going to refer to my Q&A. I'll definitely make sure to leave that down below because I do go through it in the census. I'm not good with my memory. I feel like maybe 80,000 it would be the average salary, I think. I hope I didn't botch that, but definitely check that out if you're interested in that. Oh, minimum wage is good for living here? No. People that are working minimum wage jobs here, I'm pretty sure have like 2 or 3 jobs. I don't think it's a good place to move here and make minimum wage. I don't think it would sustain you for the cost of living. Oh, for one person. Okay, so here's the thing with finances. If you are a person that doesn't have kids and there's like you and a couple, you're probably good to go because especially one person, a lot of people offer like rooms in their homes and that's a lot more affordable. It's still high compared to what I'm used to, but if you rent a room in someone's home and you're coming to work, again, not necessarily minimum wage jobs, but any other jobs, then you can make a ton of money and save a ton of money. Totally couples without kids and single people, if you're looking to just like make some money and live here short term, that's how a lot of people come here at first, because you can save a ton of money. But often people stay because they come and think they're not going to stay and then they do stay. So right now, how is the weather? Yeah, I'm working on my Yellowknife in April video. I'll show you the weather in that. But April 7th, I think, I took a video in front of my house and the snow was like as tall as me. Like, I'm not joking. It was like, because like you shovel and stuff, but like we had a ton of snow. And now you can totally see our driveway. Like it's totally clear. We have, like maybe this much snow on our porch. Like it's crazy how fast it's changed just in 2 weeks. The weather is great. Like I was saying, in the next couple of weeks, it's in the minuses, which is unusual. But usually it's like at least 0 and stuff by now, but it's good. The weather's still good. It's just windy. How about housing? Could you get it easily? No, I think I'm seeing ads online about like on the Yellowknife sites and stuff about like asking people if they would like basically please consider selling their homes because they're like in need of houses to sell. Like the houses are selling like crazy right now. And things like boats and skidoos and cars and stuff, like it's just nuts. People are just spending right now. It's a lot. It's crazy. Yeah, the housing video. Yeah, it's crazy. New census is due this year. Yeah, that will be interesting to see for sure. Things may change regarding salaries, etc. Yeah, maybe for sure. For sure. I know it's grown, like I said. So Tracy asks, is my church open right now? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, it's no, I don't know. That's like yes and no. We've been doing meetings on Zoom for a long time. And I think some people are allowed to go, but we have some restrictions like you have to wear a mask and you're not allowed to sing and you're not allowed to share food. So you're not allowed to partake of the sacrament. But other than that, some people do still go. I'd say about maybe like between 2 and like 6 people, which is like half our congregation. But no, a lot of people are doing it on Zoom and it's actually awesome because we're able to reach a lot more people right now because people are more comfortable being taught in their homes and stuff like that. So we've actually seen a lot more people on the Zoom chats for church. So also our church is unique too because our ward is or our branch is for the entire Northwest Territories. So the people on Zoom that couldn't attend before because they're like days trips away. They're still in the territories and still in our ward, but they're like days away, are now able to attend. So we're getting to know a lot of those people. So it's actually been really cool. Yeah, the internet. I have a video on bills if you guys are interested in that. I'm noticing a lot of financial questions. I'll link that down below as well. But the internet is, let me see, it is okay, so we have like a pretty high package. They don't do unlimited here, but I heard that that's changing. but it's enough for us. And, obviously with YouTube and everything, but I think we pay $150. The internet is a bit expensive for sure, but it's, yeah, probably one of the two things that's expensive, or I guess the utility. Everything's expensive, I guess, except for food. But again, it makes up for it with the difference in the wage. But if you're interested in my bills, I'll go through my whole budget with you guys in that video. So it's called Bills and Budgets in Yellowknife or something, or how much does it cost to live in Yellowknife, something like that. There's a little search bar at the top of my channel when you go through, and there's like community, playlist, da da da. At the end, there's like a little magnifying glass. If you click that and type in anything, it's really likely I've done a video about it. So that might be really helpful for you if you have questions after this live is done. But of course, if you comment on my videos, I try my best to answer. Mohammed says, thank you so much, Cassandra. Thank you. If the source of life in Yellowknife. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm glad you guys find this helpful. It's nice. Is the summer warm in Yellowknife, like 23? Yeah, for like a week. I don't know. No, yeah, it's like, I think it gets in the 20s, and pardon me, definitely not much higher than that. You can go to the beach for a little bit too, but it's freezing. It's hilarious. I have a video about that too. I take my kids to the beach, and it's like freezing. The water's always freezing, obviously, but yeah, it gets honestly, for me, it gets too warm still. Like I'm ready to put in the air conditioner now. I'm like hot. My husband's like, oh, you're so annoying. It gets really hot for me. I'm like, oh. What foods are unique to Yellowknife? I know bannock, I hope I'm saying that right, is unique to the Northwest Territories. And I know actually it's kind of cool on the Facebook groups. A lot of people do sell the unique food, or some people make like herbal remedies and things like that are unique to here, and they sell them a lot online. So there's kind of some neat things there if you're in the area. Some of the Facebook groups and stuff are handy to be a part of because you can buy some of that unique food. I thought about making bannock before, because I was going to do a unit study with my kids about the different provinces and stuff, but I never got around to it. Thanks for the reminder. Is the sun in the summer? Does it rain? No, it doesn't rain a lot. Like a little bit, but not a ton. Or maybe it does. Oh gosh, I feel like I can't remember anything right now about the summer. It's been so long, a whole year. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't remember it raining a ton because I really like the rain. But no, I don't think so. Bannock is the best, Barb says. Yeah, I obviously have to try it, but that's the only thing really I can think of that's unique to the area. Let me know if you guys can think of anything else. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this up here. I feel like I've gone on too long here, but it's been really a pleasure to talk to you guys today. Thank you so much for all of your questions. Thank you for subscribing and liking the video and all that stuff, and always watching. That means so much to me. And yeah, I will try to do another live soon if you guys are interested in them. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.